Hi guys, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. It has been a long minute. So in December, I'll just give you a quick recap. Some of you know that our dies weren't ready to come when our stamps were because there was a shipping accident somewhere out in the ocean. So I switched my schedule up around a little bit and I moved some of the Christmas things that I was going to do, mom prep. And I did those first, and then I was waiting for the dies to come in, and I was gonna then closer to Christmas do some of the videos that I'm doing now. But then I got sick, and I was sick for a full 2 weeks. So by the time I got better, well, better in a loose sense of the word, just before Christmas, a couple of days before, my daughter, who a lot of you know who follow my channel, she did all of the baking, all of the stuff. So she was a real champ. So I did nothing. And then at Christmas, my husband and Carissa both had time off. So we had scheduled it as vacation time to do some fun family stuff together. So I wasn't willing to sacrifice that to do this. So now I am in a mad rush to get re-caught back up, because when you work for yourself, there's nobody to fill in when you're sick. But I'm better. I still get a little bit tired because I didn't eat a lot when I was sick, but I'm getting there. So tomorrow, if you're watching this the day the video posts, the 2 new catalogs start. So the way I'm doing videos is picking the ones that, because I really want to show you the inside of the catalogs and we're not allowed to. So I'm doing the videos first where I at least need to show you what's inside. So the one I'm going to show you today will go from our Sale-A-Bration catalog. So on the 6th, check back, because I will do a little walkthrough of both the catalogs to show you the things that I think I'm going to like the most. I haven't had time to use lots of them because, when you're sick, creativity kind of takes a nosedive. The other thing that I didn't get to do is remind you a lot, like I normally would, about some of my classes. So those of you that are in my December ones know that they're a little delayed, but they are coming. So I have a couple of spots. I haven't finalized the order yet. I think there's 3 spots remaining for my Try It class. I will put this video, use a Sale-A-Bration paper, and when I did it, I did talk about the Try It class. So I think there's 3, there may be 2, there may be 4 spots left. I'll put the link down from on this video, because once I place the order, then that will be all the spots. But in this class, you get the papers, and you'll get this little template that has the card, the instructions, and then the little template. So you keep this forever, and then you can just use that for other projects in the future, because you just swap out papers. You don't need any stamps. You just use your own sentiments that you already have. So like for this one, you would just put your sentiment on there, and then you just keep the template. But you will use all of the new ribbons, all of the new papers. We'll make 10 projects, I think. I haven't checked my emails for a while, but I'm pretty sure it's 10. It may be 11, I can't remember, but I think it's 10. There's more papers because of the Sale-A-Bration. So whatever paper we don't use on a card, I'll send you a little sample. So you don't use every single sheet of paper, but I will show you all of the papers. But you use all of everything that's in here, embellishments, ribbon, all that. And then you get the videos, of course, to walk through those. So you can do the Try It class where you get everything to follow along with the cards, or you can do just the videos. And the videos you can sign up for the video part until I mail it, because that's when I send the videos, and I'm only going to do that once this time because I have so many things that I'm behind on. With each of these first several videos I do, I'm trying to tie them into classes since there's been way little advertising. But Sale-A-Bration does start on the 5th. For every $50 or $100, there's 2 different categories. You'll get to pick something free. And I did mail these out fairly early before I got sick and before the stuff went on back order. So most of you should have them. But I know the Indianapolis post office was bad. Like the stuff sat in there and it's still sitting there. So if you didn't get yours and you think I should have mailed you one, let me know, because I'd be happy to mail you again. I can check the tracking and send that to you. So today I'm going to use a Sale-A-Bration combo. This is free with $100 purchase, because you get the stamp set and the paper. And there is also a coordinating stamp set in the catalog. I should have pulled it out. that comes with a strawberry punch. I do have a punch laying here. You can see it not even opened. It's still in here, so you get it, and it works with the paper. It's a strawberry punch. And strawberry and leaves and flowers. So I'm going to use the stamps, but I wanted to show you how super duper fun and springy. It's been a little gray and dreary here and frosty. Look how pretty this is. So even if you don't like the berry side, the back sides are really pretty. But look how pretty. So super springy. Who's ready for a little bit of warm weather? And in the Try It class, I will walk you. This is the piece we're using today, the blueberries. Would also be fun if you make recipe cards. This would be a great, or a little recipe book. So there's the raspberries, some little tiny strawberries. It makes me want to be ready to go outside, and we have a pool that we can swim in all year, but it's been a little chilly for that. So that's the paper. The card is pretty quick. The paper I showed you on the other card in the video, and I will put that video link below so you can find out a little more about the Try It class if you're interested, if you want one of those last spots. The other thing that I never got to tell you guys was that the mill that has always made our Stampin' Up! Paper, the Whisper White, closed due to COVID. So there was nothing that Stampin' Up! Could do to, I mean, it had nothing to do with Stampin' Up!, but due to COVID, the mill itself just closed. So we no longer will have Whisper White. At the moment, we're in between. They do have a new paper coming. It's called Basic White, and it will be here soon. So don't be wasting your Whisper White until we have the new. But the new Basic White is going to be very similar. So I do have some Whisper White, and then I have a scrap, and then this is Granny Apple Green. And then here's a little trick for you. So I took this piece of paper, and you know, when you cut a rectangle, because this is just too cute, right? I wanted to use both sides because they're both really pretty. But you know, when you cut it like this, and then you want to flip it like this, they no longer make a rectangle. I don't quite understand why, because math's not my thing, or geometry, but it doesn't work. But I was determined because I wanted both sides of paper. And sometimes, like if you're doing a class, then you can like cut half of them one direction and then go back and cut half of them the other way, because that's how you have to make it work. But if you want to do this at home, then all you have to do is instead, you have to just sacrifice the thought that you wanted a rectangle and just make it a square. So that's why we have our Granny Apple Green here. So I'm just going to take, and I want these berries to be on it, so I want that to be the top of my square. So I'm just going to take this and lay that there. And then at first you just need to take your snail and just add it to this little corner here. So now I have a square. You're going to lose these two little corners. But what I lose in two little corners, I gain in having both pieces of sides of my paper showing, and not having to cut a whole nother rectangle so I can do it the opposite direction. And sometimes we've done this at camp, and I've done it myself, and then you cut the other direction and then you cut it wrong. So now we have both pieces, and this is going to go on here. But first I want to add just a little bit of texture. I kept this card fairly simple. I didn't want to use the cut and emboss machine. So I'm going to use the leaves, and there's an outline and an inside. So for this, I'm just going to use the inside. I'm going to use the Granny Apple Green, so it'll be tone on tone. You could whip out the cutest little set of note cards with this. And remember, the paper and the stamps are both free in January and February with the $100 purchase. If you sign up to be a demonstrator in January or February, it's always the best deal, but you'll get 5 free packs of paper. And demonstrators on my team always get to do the video portions of my class for free. You don't do the supply ones, but you of course can buy your own supplies at discount because you're a demonstrator. Whoops. But the Try It class is one that I send them the supplies if they want them. So now when we lay this on here, that's just got a little bit more texture, and it's not just dead green space. Yeah, I mean, I could run it through a embossing folder, but I was trying to keep this simple. And then you just decide, I think it'll go that way. So the blueberries are at the top because they're just so pretty. So let me just have this little scrap here. And then I'm gonna just make a little tag to go on the top. So take my leaves first. And I'm gonna punch it with a punch that's smaller than what my design's gonna be, so I can I'm gonna kind of smush it together and then decide which part I like best. And then this is Shaded Spruce. I'm going with it. I just let the colors that were in the paper decide my color scheme. And that just fits right over the top. Isn't that so easy and so much fun? And then I'm gonna take my blueberries, which I did not clean after I used them. Oh, maybe I did, maybe they're just stained. I'm gonna take Pacific Point. The other thing I always like in January is, as much as I love fall and as much as I love Christmas, it's a long time stamping with some of what I call our fall and Christmas colors. Pacific Point didn't make the cut. So I have Pacific Point and Night of Navy. So it's always fun to whip some of these new colors back out. Haven't seen for a while. So now I've got Pacific Point all over it. I'm just going to take it and kind of roll the edges around. So I have a tad bit of the Night of Navy just on the edges. Aren't those fun? And then I'm going to take, oops, I didn't mean to close that. And take just my little tiny one. And if you see me, normally I throw away lots of, I would call this scraps, and I pulled them back out when we ran out. I'm gonna do just my little blue, the tiny one over there. Open the Night of Navy back up, and then use the outlines. Don't want you to have to see the top of my head, so I'm gonna hope that lined up. That's decent. When you put the top of your head right over it, they line up perfectly. It's a really easy two-step stamp. So there we go. If you're a newer stamper, this is always a fun style to start with because it's easy to do. So this one right here, cut this out. I'll fast forward this part of the video. And this set comes with several fun sayings. I went with Bountiful Blessings, because if you're like me and you didn't get your Christmas cards sent out, I thought this might be a fun card to send to those people who did send me a Christmas card. And I have a whole stack of cards for next year because they were done. I just didn't get them mailed. And you know, when you get old enough, you're like, something's just got to go. And that was going because I couldn't do it. So just add that there. And then I'm going to punch it out, and I'm going to use the postage punch for a couple of different reasons. It coordinates this time with several different stamp sets that are in the new January to June mini catalog. And you can see I'm going to just line it up where I want it. So obviously I want the words because I want all the words, and you may have to trim this down just a little bit to make it fit. But there's also a hostess set. So if you host during Sale-A-Bration, and I'm doing online parties, or if you just turn in your own order and it's over $300, then there's a set and it matches all of the punches. And the postage is one of them. So I'm gonna put this right here. You can see I'm gonna lose some of the design, but it doesn't matter because we've got all those blueberries on that paper. So this is just kind of coordinating it. But you can see you're gonna lose the little blueberry because it's not big enough. So that's why I kept that little one that I cut out. So let's just put it together and then we'll be done. Don't want to lose my little blueberry, so I'm gonna keep that on there. So put this here. Now I don't know which direction I want it to be. Which side has more berries? I think I kind of like this one. The other one's got more berries. So take this one. So add this here. And they're both cut 4, so there may be a little bit over on one or the other if my cutting wasn't great. This is just our tulle ribbon, which is my very favorite ribbon. There's a couple others now that kind of vie for it because there's a couple, I like ribbons that you can do different things with. So I'm gonna get a bunch. It's probably about 1.5 yards. And then you double it over because I want this to look, I want the ribbon to be seen and I want it to look floofy. So when you put it on, make sure that it's about even. It does stick to itself, so kind of make sure that this is in the annual catalog and we've had it for a couple of years. You can dye it. I have lots of videos on my channel with this ribbon. So pull it over here and first start with just a little knot just to hold it in place. Okay, and then the first thing you want to do is tie a bow, just a regular bow. But with these 2 loops, kind of keep them so everything's not touching as much as you can because it does stick. And make these be giant loops. Pretend you're learning to tie your shoes again when you're little and you're doing the rabbit loops. So get the loops as big as you can because these are just going to be on the, kind of on the ends. And then pull this one. So now you can see I have 2 big loops. You can get them as big as you can without those ends falling out. It does stick on itself, so sometimes it's determined by when the ribbon itself is stopped and that one stopped. So now you're going to take these 2 loops again, see them, and just tie one more bow. You do exactly what you did and just do it again. That's why you need lots. And now it looks all kind of squished and ugly. Just kind of make sure the center is pulled taut. And then just take these where you've all squished them together and separate them. And then kind of refluff them back up. You can see this one here that didn't get pulled as short. I'm gonna let that be some of my tails because we've got tails over here, so you need tails on this side. So just kind of have them be the same over here. And you can mess with it for a second. I'll show you the other one. Those just needed to be separated. You just need to make sure every one of them, because every one of them has at least 2. Some of them will have 4, depending on how many times you've pulled it. So see this one right here? As soon as you separate those out, then it goes to that little ball. And the thing about these are nice, they will flatten down in the envelope, but when they open them back up, they stay nice and compact like that. But they still have depth and they hold their shape nicely. So just fold your cardstock in half. Add your adhesive. Well, you can tell I haven't stamped for a while. It's kind of crooked, but if you're using just regular steel, it's repositionable. Eventually it becomes permanent, but it's a great little starter adhesive. There are times, and one of my cards coming up, we're gonna have to use the Seal Plus because we're gonna want it to stick. But in this case, I'm glad that I didn't. So you can fluff that back up. I thought I lost my little one. These are dimensionals that are almost gone, and I always use the edges because they work great on these straight things like this. And they tear, you don't have to cut them. So put some dimensionals on here. I feel like I'm taking forever. I feel, after I got better, I felt like I was moving in slow motion. I know I was. We went shopping, grocery shopping, because you know, there was stuff that you just had to get. My husband went with me and it took forever. Which, you know, sometimes when you go grocery shopping with your husbands, it can take forever. But that was like my first big outing. Isn't that fun when you haven't been out forever and your first big outing is to the grocery store? And you know, it's at Christmas time and you got to get the things that you always get, because I did do all the traditional things after Christmas. But I'd made a list. I never would have survived without a list. So I'm going to take where this little blueberry is here. just add that back. So here's the other one. So super fun. So I will be back. I'm going to try to get 3 videos up, 2 videos up today and 3 or 4 up tomorrow, and then continue throughout the week. But I do also have my Try It class that I have to get done. I have my December classes that I have to finish. And then I have a really fun online retreat that's coming up in January. But registration for that is going to have to be lickety split. So I hope that you join me for that. I hope it's not a failure because of my lack of advertising for it because I was asleep. So everybody have a great day, and I will see you back. Join me. I'm not going to do any lives on Tuesday. Here's a little story for you. My husband got me some new light stands for Christmas. Super sweet of him, right? And so on Christmas morning, he came up here and disassembled my lights to put the new light stands up. But he didn't have all the pieces. So today when I came in here, I came in to disassemble lights. So I also have to put them back. So there's just too many things for me to try to go live. So I'll have all my pre-recorded stuff as normal. And I'll just try to get a bunch of it up for you to see. So that's what I have for right now. And if you're on my email list, then you will get an email today and tomorrow with some more, the host code and my monthly specials and my specials that are good just for through the 6th. So everybody have a great day. I'm glad to be back. Bye.